Hi, welcome to Family. We've got your back. Trent and I are excited to talk to you about this week's topic. We're celebrating our 24th wedding anniversary this weekend, and so we're kind of excited. And
we're old.
Yeah. Apparently, the gemstone I learned from one of my bosses was it for the 24th is Tanzanite.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, could be, yes. Yes, that would be an appropriate gift, is to give me a Tasmanian devil for our anniversary. Can you imagine? Oh, gosh. Anyway, Tanzanite. I think it's blue. Anyway.
Blue's nice.
Yeah. So, this week we're going to talk about something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. And because you never appreciate something until you don't have it anymore, or you want it and you can't get it, and so it becomes abundantly clear how important it is. Mm-hmm. And so when you do finally get it back, you're like, oh, you treasure it, and you try to hold on to it as much as you possibly can, and I treat it with respect, I guess, or awareness, or you're just more aware, I guess. You're more aware of that aspect or thing or whatever it is that you weren't able to have. And funnily enough, mine was choices. I've had a chemical imbalance, I would say, my whole life. And it has been a very difficult journey learning how to handle that and deal with that and have that fog lifted so that I could be, I guess the word clarity.
Yeah, that's a good word.
And be an ability to perceive truth. That it was a long journey to get to that point. And it made life really difficult for both of us. And so until the choice was given back to me, let's just say in choir one day we were singing, "Know this, that every soul is free to choose his life and what he'll be." And I shut my book and I said, "This is crap," and I walked out. Because I was not in a position to make good choices at the time. I was feeling things that weren't spurred by my actions or thoughts. Or my thoughts. I wasn't able to control myself. It was just really, really a hard time. And so now that I'm able to make choices, I instituted a swear/rude jar. And not that I'm a cusser, because I'm not. No. It's not. I don't need to. I can express myself with many other words that aren't, I just don't need to. And so, but the purpose behind it was I did not want to be reactive. I wanted to be active or act instead of react. I wanted to choose everything I said because I thought about it and it was the thing I wanted to say and do and mean. And so I asked my coworkers to help me, to call me out when I would not think before I did things. And some of them took that to mean that I was judging them and wanted to eliminate their choice.
Yeah, their choices.
And that's not what it was at all. And so if you're my coworker and you were offended by that, I'm so sorry. But it wasn't about you. It was about me thinking before I spoke or did things. Mm-hmm. And it was spurred on by my lack of choice. And because I could now make choices, I wanted to stop those habits that I had developed over the years that were hindering me. Like eating chips in bed. And I mentioned that before, and one of my coworkers told me about the 12-step program, and Trent put an idea in my head that, being in bondage to a chip with whip and chains, and every time I thought about, I want a chip, I'd think about that and be like, no, I'm not a slave to that stupid chip.
It's a chip.
I haven't, since then, eaten snacks in bed.
Dead.
And I'm not addicted to, so I don't want to be addicted to anything.
Right.
Like, I can't have caffeine because it makes me sick. And so I have very few things that I'm addicted to that control me instead of me choosing. And it's salt, sugar, and fat are the things that I'm addicted to. And so I want to choose to not have those in my life as an addiction, but a conscious choice, and not be controlled something outside of something outside of myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people have a lot of different things that they just do impulsively, right?
Yes.
And so that's what we're kind of talking about right now, is that just be mindful, right? Be aware of what you're doing, whether it's chips or whether it's chocolate. Chocolate's really good. I have a real problem with baked goods.
Yes, he does. And it becomes my problem because then I eat them too. I'm not a baker. I'm a chef. I'm a cook. I'm not a baker because I know that I will eat whatever I bake. And I know I won't be able to control myself. And so, So he's addicted to baked goods and basketball. No, I'm kidding. He's not addicted. No, he's not. No, but he likes basketball. No, that's a choice. That is a choice for him, not an addiction. Yep. Anyway, so let's define choice. Choice is an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. And so, that's a given. That's kind of an obvious thing. We're not talking about choice as in prime grade A meat. We're talking about a decision. And with that decision, that there's a result from that, or a consequence. And you can make the choice, but you don't get to choose the result or the consequences. Part of being a responsible, mature adult or a mature person is being able to extrapolate or foresee possible consequences and make your choices based off those possible consequences.
Yep.
Now, a lot of times, there's a consequence that you don't foresee, and you don't like it, and you want to avoid it at all costs. And sometimes they're unfair, and sometimes it's just, But the way you deal with those consequences is what makes you responsible. So let's define consequence. A consequence is a result or effect of an action, choice, or condition. And so it's not the choice. It's what happens because of the choice. And then responsible is being the primary cause of something and so able to be blamed or credited for it, or morally accountable. And so if you want to be a responsible, contributing member of society, you are accountable or responsible for the consequences of your choices. And you don't try to avoid them, but you own up and you deal with them, whether they're good or whether they're not something you want to deal with. But dealing with them in a mature, responsible manner is what, makes you responsible.
Right.
I can't come up with a different word, but so we're promoting responsible adulthood, I guess, in this episode. I guess that's what we could call it, is mature, responsible adulthood.
With the realization that, consequences are both good and bad.
Yeah, like what you were telling me today.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of the times in the world, we talk about the consequence of this is this, and the consequence of this is that, and it's always bad stuff.
Right.
But we're trying to promote good choices, and then the consequences of good choices, of course, are going to be good.
Not always.
Well, depending on what you're trying to get at.
Well, true. Like we're saying, you can't control your consequences.
No.
But you can choose how you respond to them.
Yeah.
Tell them about your story today.
So today you're talking about the field trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I teach 8th grade, right? And so today was the day where our 8th grade populace went to the high school to kind of get a an overview type of thing. And
orientation.
Yeah, orientation, right.
It's freshman orientation.
Freshman orientation and stuff like that. And we, I had a student that sadly I didn't recognize. They changed so much from 8th grade
when
to,
they're
to 12th
seniors.
grade.
Yeah, when they're 13 or 14.
And one of my former students saw me there as we were congregating, looking at different clubs that this high school has to offer. And they came up to me and said, "Mr. Christensen, I'm going to be salutatorian."
There you go.
I can say that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Really? That's awesome." And I didn't recognize, but they went on to say, back when I was in 8th grade math, you were kind and you helped me to get through that class. And so yeah, a little bit of my heart melted a little bit, and I was super happy for this student. So the things that I did 4 years ago with this 8th grader, it's,
yeah.
I mean, most 8th graders are awkward and still don't know what they're doing with their lives.
Middle school is not the like, peak of your cool existence.
No.
Yeah, it's middle school is awful.
Made a choice.
You
so
did.
I made a choice to try to treat my students with kindness and respect and be helpful as I can be. They made a choice to come and thank me, and it made all the difference. Like we don't get to see that happen very often.
Yeah, a lot of times
in the school system.
True. A lot of times our choices produce consequences that we do not get to see.
Yep.
And we do not get to see the fulfillment of fruition of. Like we plant a seed and we don't get to see the fruit at the end.
Yep.
Like we just going about our lives and the ripple effects we don't get to see.
We don't know all of that.
So yeah, but the way we deal with the consequences we do know about matters. There was a quote that I came across this week from Tadar Callister. It says, "Rationalization." I have to read it. Rationalization is the intellectual drug that anesthetizes the sting of conscience. So let me read it again, because it's like lots of big words and hard to say. Rationalization, or like trying to justify, make you in line with, make it right, or so make something wrong right. Mm-hmm. Rationalization is the intellectual drug. So the thoughts that you have that anesthetizes the sting of conscience. So we believe that everybody's born with a conscience, that they have, and the more they nurture that conscience, the stronger it becomes.
Right.
And so when you rationalize and say, well, it wasn't my fault.
It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It diminishes your ability to recognize right from wrong.
Right.
And so we're suggesting that you don't rationalize. If you've done something wrong, own up to it.
Yeah, just own it.
Just say, you know what, I messed
up.
I will take the consequences for that. I will try to fix this
and
whatever.
Make it right and be a responsible adult.
Exactly. We're promoting responsible adulthood today. But yeah, so when nobody likes feeling guilty. Nobody likes feeling bad. We all want to assuage that feeling. And one of the ways is trying to excuse our behavior by making it not wrong. Mm-hmm. And we're here to say that is not the way to go.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. No.
No.
One of our nephew's first words was, no. So yeah, we're like, no. Don't rationalize. Like, there can be reasons for your behavior or why you did what you did. But if you try to change the very nature of your action to make it a wrong into a right, then that's where you start anesthetizing your conscience.
Right.
And we're saying that your conscience is one of your best tools to use when you are making choices and helping you discover what's best for you and the people around you. And because, you know, I don't want to say instinctively know what's right and wrong, because that's not truly the case, but it's more of just a general, oh, that was not good, I feel bad about that. And instead of just ignoring that, learn to make better choices and learn to deal with that guilt in a positive, constructive, growth promoting way. So anyway.
Yeah.
So the challenge this week, the activity, the homework, whatever, homework for the 8th grade math teacher, challenge or activity for the family science major. Anyway, it is find something in your life that you are rationalizing away or not living up to, or like the consequences that you are not good at facing up to. Find something in your life that you're struggling with in that area and analyze it in a way that helps you make a better choice in the future and own up to what you are doing and take responsibility for it and grow from that experience, from that choice. Don't like guilt trip yourself, but like use it as motivation to be better and do better.
Right. Become
the best you that you can be.
Yeah.
So that's the activity for the week, is make a better choice.
Yeah. Once again, that sounds awful. But really, we all make mistakes. We're all
humans. Humans make mistakes.
And the only thing that we can hang our hat on is let's try to be better the next time.
Less reactionary, more choice.
Yep.
Anyway, if you have any future requests for topics you want us to talk about, or you have any comments, you can email us at familywevegotyourback@gmail.com. And please consider subscribing so that we can reach more people. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.